Katie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another book tag for you. Today I am doing the Game of Thrones book tag, which was created by Claire, I'm going to mess up her last name, Rousseau here on YouTube. And I will link her channel down below. I could not find the original video that she did. I don't know if she deleted it, but I'll try to link that one if I can find that as well. So without further ado, let's just go right into the first question for the tag. So the first prompt is Arya Stark for a character who's all about revenge. And the first one that came to my mind is Mia from Nevernight, because I am about halfway through this one. And right now, she is just hell-bent on getting revenge for the people who killed her family. I'm assuming that that probably does not change throughout the series. She probably still wants revenge. But as of right now, this is the one that I thought of, so that is what I'm going with. The next prompt is Varys for a book that features political intrigue. And I'm actually going with one that I have not yet read, and that is going to be Renegades by Marissa Meyer. And I am not actually sure if this has political intrigue in it, as I haven't read it yet. But I know that it does have to do with two clashing ideals. There's the Renegades and the... what are they called? Anarchists? Am I making that up? I might be making that up. Yeah, I have no idea what the other side of this war is called, but one side is called the Renegades. But I am assuming that this has some political intrigue in it. If it doesn't, let me know, so I know if I'm wrong. Then the next prompt is Joffrey, which is a villain you love to hate. And I don't know what kind of book tag this would be if I did not mention any Game of Thrones characters. And I actually could have a few for this one in Game of Thrones. If you have read it or seen it, then you would know this. I'm going to pick two characters for this prompt. And I'm going to pick Searcy and Ramsay from Game of Thrones. So I know a lot of people like Searcy because she's not actually really considered evil or a villain. But in my mind, I hate her so much. But I love to hate her. And then Ramsay is just horrible. He is horrible. So of course I hate him, but I love him at the same time, and I don't know why. Then the next prompt is Jon Snow, which is a coming-of-age story, and I decided to go with Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman, as this is the only one that I could think of right off the top of my head that is a coming-of-age story. So this is a companion follow-up book to the Serafina duology. So this follows Serafina's younger sister Tess, and her family wants to send her to a nunnery, but in order to avoid that, she runs away, and it follows her journey and, you know, her travels and her adventures and things like that, and her just growing up. So I have not read the Serafina duology yet, but I am really excited to read it so I can get to this one, because I've heard great reviews on this. Then the next prompt is Jaime and Searcy, a ship you just can't get behind. And this might irritate a lot of people, but I cannot get behind Aelin and Rowan together. I don't like them together. I know I love Dorian and Manon together, but I really wish that she would have ended up with Dorian or even Chaol. I just don't like Rowan. There's something about him. I don't like the two of them together. I think that they're just too into themselves. So, yeah, that's just one ship that I cannot get behind. And then the next prompt is Lady Olenna, which is an older character that is kick-ass. And I'm actually going to go with a book full of older kick-ass characters. And that is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. This is such a fantastic, funny fantasy book. It follows a group of older men who are on this mission to go and save one of the members' daughters who is stuck in a city that is under siege. And basically this is when they're way past their prime, and so they're too old to be doing this stuff basically. But they do it anyway, and they fight with swords and axes and shields, and their backs are creaking and they're throwing out their hips, and it's just so funny. And they're so badass. And if you have not read this yet, I highly recommend it. And the sequel, Bloody Rose, is coming out soon, and I'm so excited, and I cannot wait to get that one. Then the next one is Dany, and this is a book that features dragons. And I'm going with The Dragon Lords by John Hollins. because one, I don't hear a lot about this book on YouTube. I have not read this yet, so I'm not sure how it is, but I've heard that it's pretty funny. And basically this is a world that is ruled by dragons, and this group of people go and try to steal from the dragon. The back of this says, "It is not easy to live in a world ruled by dragons. The taxes are high and their control is complete. But for one group of bold misfits, it's time to band together and steal back some of that wealth. No one said they were smart." So just that alone makes me super excited to read this one, and I've heard really nothing about it, but it has dragons, it sounds like it's funny, then I'm going to read it. So this is what I'm going with for this prompt. Then the next one is for Sansa, which is a character that you grew to love. And one, I totally agree, Sansa is a character that I grew to love. But I'm going to go with Vivenna from Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, because in the beginning she is very ignorant and just doesn't care about anybody but herself. But then by the end of the book she completely changes and she wants to help the people and give them what they need and is no longer so selfish, and she understands what's going on in this world. So I ended up really loving her by the end of this book. And I listened to this book on audio, which if you're going to read this book, I suggest you listen to the audio because it is so good. And it made me laugh so many times. Okay, and we have 2 prompts left. And the next prompt is Melisandre, which is a magic system that you love. Now, of course, because I read so much fantasy, there are so many different magic systems that I love. And I love them all equally, but I decided to go with A Darker Shade of Magic by Victoria Schwab for this one. And the reason why I went with this one is because it's just so cool how Kel can jump between different Londons and travel, and it's so cool. And then the fact that they can also do magic, like elemental type of magic and things like that, I just loved it. And that's really the kind of magic systems that I love, so. And then the last prompt is for Tyrion, who is one of my favorite Game of Thrones characters. And it is a character whose weapon is their mind. So I decided to go with Half a King. And the character that I am thinking of for this is Yarvi, who is the prince. And he is half a king. He has one arm that is shrunken and he cannot use. So he has to fight his battles with his mind instead of with his strength. And I'm about halfway through this one, and I do really enjoy it. A lot of people were saying that it's funny. I don't see the humor, at least not yet, I don't. As of right now, I'm at the part he's a slave, so that's not really very funny. But I'm hoping that the rest of this book will be pretty funny, and then I also have the next 2 books in this series, so I am really looking forward to reading those ones as well. So that is it for this book tag. Let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought. And let me know down below if you would like to see more book tags from me, because they are really fun to do. And give me some recommendations on videos and tags and things like that that you would like to see from me. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!